And good morning to everyone. Welcome to the morning steam for Thursday, October the 5th. I'm your host, Ramon Scott, coming to you from the sports betting capital of the world, Las Vegas. Trying to come up with a show of sports betting today. What's going on, you guys? I had a whole segment planned out for Major League Baseball coverage. What are we going to do? Can you believe it? Are we dealing with the right format here with our baseball playoffs? We got to talk to these guys. Now, I know that two of the road teams won and two of the home teams, so I guess the format is better than one game. Remember, they used to do one game playoff in that round. So, yeah, they all finished as sweeps, and now we don't have a baseball game today. So, with no staggered starts, we got to be ready for the division series. This is what we've ended up with, 4 sweeps, and that's okay. That's okay. Just wish we had something. It kind of feels like, well, like I said, 2 of the road teams won, so I can't really equate that. But just getting to it's like kind of feels like football overtime. The other team didn't get the ball, but they all had 9 at bats twice, and we just ended up in sweeps. So whether or not the best team, you don't know. I mean, baseball is the most bizarre, right? Because the sample size is huge in the regular season. Then you come down to just a couple of games. You think about what a football playoff. I mean, that's, I don't know. I guess it's kind of close. 1 game compared to 16, 3 games compared to 162. No, that's not the same. So maybe when you get to a 7-game series. So how you guys doing today? Say hello to a couple folks. We'll try to find some games to preview. We've got Thursday night football. And even that, I mean, we're not going to make any jokes. We're thankful to have it. You wonder what we can do in the future about that. But, I'm sure when they originally scheduled the Bears and the Commanders, they were, thinking, well, the Bears are going to turn it around this year. And, well, the Commanders, they'll probably be decent by week 5. No. I mean, you got to have these teams to give them a chance to be on television here. And, we'll just make the best of it. With the Bears and the Commanders tonight, also a couple of college football games. Isn't there nothing special? So I've come up with one other thing to talk about with you guys, and that's, well, in just 3 hours from right now, we're going to have NBA preseason action tipping off. How about that? Anybody want to watch how about a little basketball? We're desperate a little bit for some sports. Let's go to the NBA, and we'll have a game coming to you from the United Arab Emirates in just 3 hours between the Mavericks and the Timberwolves. There's a line out. There's some, we're going to make a pick because, hey, if I'm doing as well as I am in NHL preseason, maybe I should be giving those out as premiums because I didn't have a great day, but maybe you guys can put me on a couple of winners today. Also, preview the early action from Sunday because I'm desperate for some sports handicapping. And we'll go to the Sunday card. It's Thursday, so hello to Dre. Thanks for joining me, you guys. Solo's here. Ferner is waving the pink hand, and Doubles is here as well. Go over to Tony'sPicks.com and see who did well yesterday, because I will not be on the handicapper leaderboards, but I'm not going to. I was pretty hot. All right, regroup a little bit, give a few units back. Pretty solid month. I was pretty mad yesterday. I couldn't. Maybe I couldn't be one of those live stream guys. Let's take a look over at Tony'sPicks.com where you'll find our premium picks. Absolutely, our best picks are over at Tony'sPicks.com. I'm going to give you some free picks today. The free picks feel like they're okay. Feel like they're pretty good. Yeah, we had some winners and some losers yesterday, but Discord, man, I mean, Seems like everything we're giving out in the Discord right now. I don't know. I'm trying to give just many winners as possible. Whether it be videos or premium picks or social media. But right now, seems like I'm putting and I will say this. I mean, the Discord kind of gets the third tier of plays, right? Because we've got premiums; those are always going to be my best picks, and then I'll come on the show. Um, the show's pretty cool to have be on the 40,000 subscriber powerhouse Tony's Picks YouTube channel, and so probably like my second best plays premium. You're only going to have a handful a day. Even if I pick more than anybody, I'm still going to have just a few, maybe 3, maybe 5, maybe 7, maybe 10, maybe on the weekends, a dozen premium plays. But, like maybe 1/10, maybe 15% of plays are going to qualify premium with me, right? Then this show, which gets, hey, you guys are here. We've got a couple dozen viewers in here now, gets on the channel, maybe get several hundred views. So you want to be right. And then the Discord, where we're not getting as much volume, but I put the link in there. And I know that my hardcore supporters or followers, if you will, because I like to give out picks. So that's where I give kind of like a little bit of a third tier. And right now, those are clicking pretty good. We gave out a couple of winners last night in NHL preseason. So that's where they're going to go today as well. Keep saying we should move, can we get a premium out of the preseason? I don't know. Probably today would be the day. It's a huge NHL preseason card, and we are clicking pretty well, but still tough to come up with, preseason NHL. We've got some, major sports television action today. I guess that's the way we'll put it. But it would be nice to have a little daytime action here today in the NBA in a couple of hours. So, it's just going to be a free pick. No premium there. But there's been a pretty significant line move in the game. Okay, I'm going to take you over to Tony'sPicks.com. I'm going to go through here how everyone's doing and see if anybody had a great day yesterday, like probably Sam Amerty. He came in with 60% winners yesterday on his premium picks. So there you go. Probably deals in the volume. He knows how it goes. Hollywood Sam. He won he was 2-0-1, the 2-0, let's call it, plus 200 yesterday. Tony T, he had his only premium winner, was on the Minnesota Twins. Yep, Tony had the Twins in their Game 2 win over Toronto for his premium play, and Tony continues to be on just a great run, man. This is well over a month and a half right now with Tony's premiums in a pretty good groove. And the VIP account also doing pretty well right now, 67% yesterday. Over the last 7 days, it's Ben Ruhala. He's at 60% over the last 7 days on the website for plus 11 2/3 units. That's pretty strong. Collins Brown, 65%. 10 1/3 units over the last 7 days. Hollywood Sam, also pretty strong, 65% right now, nearly 9 units of profit in just 7 days. Daniel Walasachuk, also very strong right now, 70% over the last 7 days. And, well, I'm still on the leaderboard over the last 7 days. We better pick up some winners here today. Otherwise, we're going to be dropping off that 7-day leaderboard real quick. After I got beat there at the end yesterday, beat down. Over the last 30 days, I'm still on top of the handicapper leaderboard. So quit whining, Ramon. You got winners in there, 100 winners over the last 30 days. And I'm up over 21 3/4 units. Collins Brown's up 21 1/3 units over the last 30 days. Nick Vartini, he's the face of Platinum Cappers. He's up nearly 12 units of profit over the last 30 days. Hollywood Sam, 9 2/3 units over the last 30 days. And Tony T, up 575 over the last 30 days. Those are the top handicappers at Tony'sPicks.com. Use the promo code TonyT at checkout to save 20% off those premium pick packages. My best plays are going to be up over at Tony'sPicks.com. Pretty much playing every game today on this card. You know, a lot of it has to do with the time to handicap a game, the volume of games that day, right? I can come up with a premium probably on every game on this short card. Basically, we're talking 3 football games tonight. So we'll also be, as I said, I'll be previewing Sunday's action here in the NFL. Click on the All Cappers tab, find the handicapper of your choice, and get signed up. When you click on the handicapper name, you'll find their previous results right at the top of their page, a little description about each capper, their previous records in other sports, and then you can scroll down and actually go game by game and get the results of the cappers there on the site. See exactly how they did in their previous games. You can type in the search, you can find different games and things like that, and see how people, how handicappers are doing. For example, if I type in NFL, then all the latest NFL comes up for me here, and then you'll see a little bit of streak we've been on, running pretty good in NFL. You see a lot of wins right there. All right. Appreciate it. We'll all have premium picks up there in just a little while. Several of the cappers already with their plays up there for today. I'll have premiums as well, but take a look. There's Collins Brown. He's got a 3-pack in college football. Ben has a 3-pack as well in the NFL that kicks off. He's got props tonight. Maybe we'll go the props direction with tonight's card. All right. Appreciate you guys coming on in, and we'll go back and get this one started. Let's get this one started, as a man once said. Hello to M Looks. My pleasure. Hey, we're trying to get got to get those winners somewhere. And probably should, man, I should be dealing those out in premiums. It's just, and also customer demand, right? Hey, nothing wrong with picking winners, no matter how you get them. Yeah, there are some limits on NHL preseason. Might not affect even an average player who uses a service, if you will. You can still get a pretty good bet off of NHL preseason games. I mean, we're just trying to grind out a profit. We're not trying to kill any bookies here. Bookies are supposed to be our friends, you guys. All right, Mike, how do baseball scores 41, 3, 6, 3? I don't know, Mike. I never know where you're going with your algorithm, but I do respect it. It's proven. All right, let's get ready to talk a little football tonight on Thursday night. Good morning to Darren as well. And Ray. Okay, you guys, the Bears are going to take on the Commanders tonight. And, well, the best thing about this one might be the introduction of the game, maybe. Two teams with a pretty good history. I like that. Amazon, I know everybody's complaining about the Amazon Prime. One thing I do like, that intro, man, that's the best I've ever seen of all the years of football, right? It kind of takes you back a little bit. Anyways, the Commanders here, a touchdown favorite over the Bears. You got, coaches, a couple of what happened to Riverboat Ron? He's turned into retirement home Ron. He doesn't want to go for the win. And, well, for the Bears coach, I don't know, could he be fired if they lost this game by, 2 or 3 touchdowns tonight? Now, the Bears have never fired their coach in the middle of the season. I mean, at least not in my lifetime, I don't think. So why would that really happen now? Make fun of Justin Fields. He had like his career best game last week, statistically. So, but their Bears, they're allowing 35 points a game. Is that Justin Fields' fault? And why don't the Bears ever have any good wide receivers? I mean, even their best are just, marginally good at best, it seems like. Maybe we could talk about some of the Bears receivers of late. But they just don't seem to be able to. Pardon me. Ray's ready to go. He's got the Commanders already. Doubles says right out of Chicago, the Mike North, OG radio host, one of the first guys to kind of handicap games on the radio a little bit as well. Says that retirement home run wants to win so bad against the Bears in this one. Yeah, it'd be a pretty big game for retirement home run. Washington has given up. So we talk about the Bears giving up all their points, 35 a game. And the Commanders have given up also 35 a game, it seems like. Last 3 weeks anyway. Look at the 30, they gave up 33, gave up 37, gave up 34. So this total 44.5 seems like two good teams are playing. Now you got to give some credit to Howell so far. He also has, had his moments. Look, Fields' record is terrible. We know that. He's 5-24 as a starter. And sometimes it can look really, really bad, right? Especially for a guy that loves to take a sack. He loves, being piled on by a bunch of defenders. He's he's Robo QB. Do you want Robo QB in there? Chicago's 5-12-1 against the spread in their last 18 games as road underdogs, but they're getting a full touchdown here against a pretty bad team. The Commanders are 2-2. If anything, they've overachieved so far this season, right? Considering the way those games, a couple of wild ones certainly. Talk about the Bears and their really poor spread record as road dogs, but the Commanders as a home favorite are 5-10 against the spread. Their last 15 as a home favorite, and of course they can't stop anybody in the second half. Thomas says he'll tease the Commanders down, so it sounds like he's just going to take him as a pick 'em here. And which way are you going to go on the total, though, Thomas? Which way do you want to go on this total? I know which way I'm going, but it's just a matter of what am I going to give? What am I going to give out on the side and total? Hello to Ron Crawford. Nice to see you, Ron. How did? I guess I could check the KBO scores and see what's going on. Or A Double's coming in with his play. He's a Chicago correspondent. And he says, take Washington. Nathan, hello as well. And Ron said, I'm not way to look Bears. I'm going to try to decipher that. Only look is Bear. Okay, Ron might be going with the. I'm at your guys' expense. If you use the autocorrect and it says something funny, I'm going to use it. Hey, Mr. Stretch is here today. Nice to meet you, Mr. Stretch. Thank you for coming and thank you for your pick. He says he's on the Bears. Darren says, I want to be on the Commanders -6 and the under, but not so sure about the under. I'll say this, Darren. This is the best price, and I don't know if it's going to go up anymore. It was as high as 45, and right now we're talking pretty much 44.5 here, right? I'd say is the general number, but I would say that's up a little bit from a 42.5. And that's kind of the reported steam was, on the under in this game. But sometimes we think of really bad teams as being inept and not being able to produce offensively. And of course, I mean, I guess I'm kind of the leader of that group. when I because I'm such a heavy under guy, right? I mean, even if you had other handicappers out, I don't know how all this works. I'm just on here taking my advantage of being on the 40,000 subscriber powerhouse Tony's Picks YouTube channel. But there might be some other cap. But I mean, you might say, hey, you know what? If I'm thinking about the total, let me see what Ramon's doing. And I'm going to be first and foremost always thinking under. But I'm not here. Probably look at how these guys are giving it up. Now these guys aren't. There's not the Miami Dolphins out there. I get that. But I think we've seen enough with Howell and the talent, the offensive talent on Washington, right? All their offensive play, they all have that, I don't know, that same build, if you will, the Robinson type, right? They all look very sleek and fast. And the Bears aren't, look at them. Look at the Bears defensively, truly. I mean, this is not, there's no Urlacher's out there. There's nothing, nothing's going on. So I think that also probably increases the volatility of, Commanders. Come on, Commanders covering a big number like a touchdown against anybody. Okay, I get it. The Bears, are they the worst? Maybe they are, right? They're whatever. I mean, there's 2, 3, 4 really bad teams, and the Bears are one of them. The Commanders, they definitely have earned the right to be, because I think we could say going into the season, could the Commanders be one of the bottom teams? No, maybe not one of the bottom teams, but we didn't know that Howell. I mean, you don't necessarily go out and get, have Howell and say, hey, this is the guy we're going to build our franchise. He's just kind of ended up in the position. And hey, he's been considering expectations to his career. Howell's done a great job. Like I said, last week, for these quarterbacks, oh, great. Here comes some more plays. Thank you, guys. Appreciate this. Let me see. Let me catch up on some of these while I'm ranting about bad football teams. Nathan, he's on the Commanders here. But let me see here. Oh, man. Having trouble keeping up. Good. We're back to having some conversation here in the chat. Okay, here I'm all caught up now. Sorry about that, you guys. Bobby Smith, he comes in. He says he's locked in on the Bears here. He might take it up to 7. So I think we can generally agree. I think 6 is what we're looking at as the true line at this time. Ray says it might sneak over the 44. Double says until we get a new coach. So right, and what how did we end up with we're the Chicago Bears, right? I mean, I get it. We're a little bit. This is why we're in the position that we're in. So, even back when we were going to build a new stadium or, the renovate, like, why are we spending this money on the renovation? Our Chicago course, doubles can help us out or the Chicago crew. But, should we build a new stadium in Arlington? Yes. Are we stuck with revamped Soldier Field? Yes. And it all kind of look, the Hallis family has been just long term. This is it's a great NFL story. It is the story of the NFL, the Chicago Bears to a certain extent, but you don't want it to get like this. Mark Lee says Commanders here. And Nathan has it a 10-point victory, 31-21. It does feel a little bit, I know that's a real rounded score, and I always try to go rounded scores, right? Because in a way, like sometimes when you make a prediction, right, you don't want to be a guy picking 29-25. And they're like, someone might actually analyze and go, you're picking the score. Do you even know anything about football? Of course, it could land 29 or 25. I mean, nothing's out of the question anymore with all these crazy combinations of numbers, but this one feels like it's going to have some goofy number on the end, right? A 5 or a 9. Those are the two teams. Those are the two numbers actually that you don't see on the end of football scores as often as the other 8 digits. Did you know that? I think maybe you guys did. 5 and 9 are the least landed on numbers. 9 the most. I think it's 9 the most. Okay. Yeah. Hey, Ramsey World. Nice to have you here today. we're picking our spots, Ramsey. Goodnight Munchie here today. Let's see. Goodnight Munchie's got a novel I can read, which is good on a day like today. I like Chicago versus Washington under. Washington plays worse at home, and Chicago plays bad on the road. And been almost a year since Fields won a game. Yeah, like I said, 5 and 24 as a starter. Howell, he's 3 and 2 as a starter. I don't know if that is a good enough sample size for anyone, but like I said, given what we're expected from a guy like Howell, I think we're getting a pretty good guy here. So, all right, I guess I better get rolling here on my pick. Washington has gone under in 12 of their last 17 games. Hello to Winning Wager. Nice to see you. How you been? The Bears 14, 24, and 3 against the spread, coming off a loss in their last 40 games. That seems like a big, talking about that really is not just a few seasons, really. Both teams have been disaster in the second half. Now, I don't know how you guys want to equate it because you're playing similar teams here, whereas before, Commanders, we know they've actually had a couple of tough, the Bears obviously playing everybody that they play is tougher than them, but Chicago's been outscored 73-48 in the second half. Washington has been outscored 45-17 in the second half in their last 2 games. I'll quantify that a little bit. Commanders have won 8 of the last 9 meetings between these two teams, and they've gone over in 4 of the last 5 games. Of course, everybody remembers one of the most famous games of all time when the Bears beat Washington to win the NFL championship. But that was 87 years ago. But it was 72-0 or 73-0. I don't even remember. 72, 73-0. Thank you, Doubles. Yeah, yep. I knew it was something like that. Okay, well, for me, I just think the spread's a little bit too high. I think Justin Fields always kind of keeps you around in the game, and the Washington is not solid enough to cover a touchdown against a fellow NFL team, even if they're 0-4. I'm on the Bears tonight. They'll probably have to backdoor it somehow, but this isn't going to be anything too special. You're not going to see championship defense out there, if you know what I mean. So my pick is in. Hopefully you guys got your picks in. Hopefully I got them all on the screen with you. Last call as we take it kind of slow here today. Run through the show. All right, thanks, you guys. You guys got your picks in. My picks in. I'm taking the Bears here, +6. Go Bears! Should have worn my Bears jersey. I don't have a Commanders jersey. I have another Washington football team jersey that's not the Washington football team. It was the one before that. I can't say the name of it, but had to do with. All right. Thanks, you guys. Let's go to college football now and talk about a couple of games tonight to keep our interest. Because, hey, who knows what will happen to that Bears-Commanders game we need. And plus, the college football starts a little bit earlier today, 7 Eastern. Thomas has teased the Bears up. Who didn't give me who didn't complete their teaser and said they're going to tease the Commanders down to a pick, and they did? Was that you? Who didn't give me their total on that? All right. Oh. Double says the Bears are going to get blown out tonight in this one. Just donate the money to me. All right, Doubles. Yeah, we'll do that. I don't have to send the money. I don't want to pay any sports books, so maybe we'll just bet. My pick is in. I'll be betting on it, but again, I might find some other ways. I might need that 7. I might need 7.5. I might be buying it a little bit, but good to just take the Bear. I just expect higher volatility. I'm going to want to be on an underdog here, especially an 0-4 dog in the NFL. I agree. The Bear. Look, I think I've been on the Bears' terrible bandwagon the whole time. No doubt about it. As one of the worst teams. Again, it's about the fact that, like I said, look, Fields is obviously not going to be an answer in the NFL, I don't think, at all. There are limitations. But remember, we've seen some interesting moments from him. But why can't the Bears have elite wide receivers ever? Why don't they ever want to pay wide receivers anymore or ever? And things like that. I know we're talking about the defense, too, and the problems there. All right, I got to go to college football, guys. We're not going to stay here too long today again. Long enough. All right, Sam is going to be looking for their first win. They're taking on Liberty. The number's pretty big here. The Sam, look, they're better than 0-4. Believe me. Sam is better than their 0-4 record, but they might not be better. They might not still be, able to get this number. Now, the number opened when we were on that circus show or the opening lines show on Sunday. It opened 17, was bet to 18, was bet to 19. Now it's all the way up to 21, like Liberty's a runaway flame, if you will. So all of a sudden, this one keeps going higher. Now, Sam's had, big time issues, of course, so far in their transition here, but they're still they're a really strong program. You guys, maybe you guys know this already. Maybe it's going to be tough for them to ever get going, at least early on here. And what are you trying to be in Division I, right? I mean, you want to be the next San Antonio? Well, now look where they are. Anyways, look, Coach Keeler's been here forever. This is his baby, and this is great, for Sam to be here. They've played, interesting games so far because of this. It's almost like a record-setting defense to a certain extent until last week, but, they're just doing what they can. So they lost their first 4 games combined, 100-38 so far. And they've been outscored on the road 65-10. So, but they are 2-1 against the spread on the road. And we know they were just done. They were pretty much having their way at 1AA. They had won 26 of their last 31 games before moving, into Division 1A. Now, Liberty, they've been, a gambler's darling over the last several seasons. I mean, they're 33-21 against the spread in their last 4 years. They're, been good to gamblers, no doubt about it. They've covered all 4 games this season, too. They're averaging 37.5 points per game. Now, they are just 10-8 as a home favorite over the last 3 or 4 years. That's not great necessarily, especially now that you got to lay this big, at least 4-point tax on Liberty. And that's probably what I'm going to just, probably feels like what I'm going to end up doing on the show. I want to respect Sam here, and I think that here's the problem. I think that it's problem. If it was 17, I know it's easy to say now. I never liked when the handicappers say that. Oh, I liked it at 17, but now at 21. Well, it's 21. Still leaning Liberty here at this point. Well, I want to try to find a way to Sam. Believe me, it's a free play, so I can talk like this on the show about it. Let's get some of your plays. I see you guys commenting on it already. Here's Solo's going to lay the 3 touchdowns. Nathan says go under in this one. Right, it could be, doesn't it feel like a 28-7 game, or I don't know, 31-10, 31-10, something right in there maybe. Oh, there it is. Nathan said right there. Look at that. 31-13. Winning wager says go over in this one. Thomas is on Sam here. Ray says he'll take the Flames. And Goodnight Munchie says go over. Anyone going over, they're getting the best price here. There's no doubt that this one had opened higher. I see it opening when we were on that opening line show on Sunday. It opened 49.5, and we're all the way down to 46 here. And the way the line is going, it just indicates more and more that Liberty is supposed to come in here and, basically like Nathan said, basically, score 4-1 in touchdowns, something around there, a couple of field goals here, stuff like that. Darren likes Sam as well here. So I don't know. I might need another field goal at this point. I think Sam has been very, very interesting. Even with this 0-4 record not looking good, right? I mean, look at the first game, the defensive tone of the games. They obviously have. Look, if they were in Division I AA, I'm sure they'd be smashing right now. I'm sure the team is good enough. They'd be just fine playing their old schedule. I'm not saying that's how big the difference is, but JPZ talking hoops. Hey, I'm going to preview that game. PZ, so stick around. I'm going to do it in just a couple minutes here if you want. Or you can preview it for me, and I'll just agree or disagree. You guys are my co-hosts now, apparently here. Mike's got it 41-21. Woo! Yeah, Thomas, I should look at all the games last night. I whiffed last night on our football menu. Boy. How, and Nathan's got our graphic. He might be the new graphics man. Although I prefer to look. I mean, look at your graphic. No disrespect, and you do have the records in there. But I've got the, all caps, the full Sam Houston State. Yet I just call him Sam. And you should too. To Westbrook, we're getting desperate here, Liberty. It sounds like the way I talk on some of these shows a little bit. Thanks, Terrell. Good to see you. All right. So I think we're ready to go here in this one with I'm going to lay it with Liberty. I can't give it out as a premium now at 4 points over that. I still feel like there's room here for Liberty to get this money against Sam. And I'm the one that keeps saying the recency bias drug is what I need, but kind of looking at the way I struck out last night a little bit. I mean, I've kind of been a supporter of Sam, but hello to Solo says, how about Eovaldi? Not only Solo said, what does it say? Hope everyone played Eovaldi over 14.5 outs. I was talking about also his K, he was 20-1 to have the most strikeouts of any of the pitchers last night, of any of the starting pitchers, and he got that home too. Thomas going to come in on Sam here on this one. I'm sticking with Liberty. Got Liberty to win. I'm trying to thread the needle here, guys, on this one for sure. I'm talking right in that range that Nathan was talking about. I'm aiming right there, and a lot of my bets are going to be zeroed in on something right around a 24 to 28 point victory, with Sam scoring just one touchdown and trying to, pinpoint that final score and go for the big score a little bit here tonight. Maybe even put some of those bets in. I like to bet those windows when they give out. That would be me, Nathan. The baseball. I did not. I could only come up with one premium winner last night. I went with Zach Gallen. All right, Liberty for me. Give me Liberty, as someone once said, including one of the most famous, and that would be Ray Otachi. Yeah, I think wasn't it Ray Otachi who once said, "Give me Liberty"? All right, I'm on Liberty here. I expect it to be a low-scoring game, if you know what I mean. Liberty likes to, think of Liberty, you see these scores, but they run the ball. They run it. And that's going to be the interesting point about this game when you're going up against Sam. So I know I'm done with the game, but Liberty averages 270 yards per game or so on the ground. And they also +7 already in turnovers. So that's the type that you see, I think, the way Liberty's going to be controlling this here tonight. So I just don't want to be, because the last game with Jacksonville last night, Jacksonville State, I got beat on the back end there, that total as well. I tried to go under, and we know Jacksonville State has been involved in that. Remember, they played Sam. They've been involved in some games. Some of these lower Division I teams have been playing each other already. Thanks. Oh, look at Terrell. Oh man, that sounds. I could go for that. 28-27. That would be an over though, unless we're already on the next game. Let's go to the next game, you guys. Take Liberty there. Western Kentucky, Louisiana Tech. This is and look, with all due respect to the Bears and the Commanders, and this is the game of the night. This is the game of the night. I think the spread's the same as the Bears game, but it just feels like this will be a little bit more entertaining when you got Western Kentucky involved. They're favored here by 6, and the total is 60 in this one. When we were on the opening lines show, Western Kentucky was opening around 9 or so, and they've just pretty much been bet down all the way. Down to 8, down to 7, down to 6. They actually touched 5.5 and back up here to 6. It is juiced to Western Kentucky. So could it even go a little bit higher here for the Hilltoppers? Western Kentucky gave up 500 yards a game in their first 4 games against Division I competition. They also have a game against a Division I AA opponent so far. One thing about Western Kentucky, they always do pretty well in the takeaway department. So far, they've +8 in turnover margin in their 3 victories, and they've averaged 41 points per game in those wins. But, when they lose, so far they're getting outscored by 14 points. Now, I know that that's obvious, but again, here they are favored against the Louisiana Tech team that so far, look, this is a pretty good situation, 3-3. The Louisiana Tech's only won 3 games in each of their last 2 seasons, so they've already, now the games will be a little bit tougher here, but I would expect this team probably improved right now. I think it's pretty obvious. I mean, they got the former Boise State quarterback in there. So they're doing a pretty good job so far, Louisiana Tech, and shouldn't be overlooked, I don't think, in this game. See what you guys want to say here before we get into a few stats and make a pick. But solo on Louisiana Tech. And Terrell, makes me want to maybe have IHOP right after this. I just order it on the app and I go down and pick it up. I might do it. And Nathan, talking about some of maybe going to increase my social life here in Vegas. Sports books and card rooms and Terrible's convenience store is about my whole life, it feels like. Louisiana Tech and under for Terrell. If you don't know what Terribles is, I didn't either. But that's like going to Arco. Terribles is like the convenience stores. They're called Terribles. And, as you guys know, many of you know if you've been to Vegas, not only, supermarkets have slot machines, gas stations have slot machines. You can go and sit there all day, kind of like we used to do with the video games back in the day at the liquor stores. Darren's on WKU. And I'm on Louisiana Tech. Sorry, Darren. I'm going to take these points here in this one for sure. Here, I think this one has a pretty good shot and upset. I think a little bit of a money line sprinkle here in this one. I'm saying the total is a premium for me. So feel pretty confident, though, about Louisiana Tech as well. Goodnight Munchie is going to go under in this one. And Louisiana Tech already with 6 games under its belt, 5 of them against Division 1A competition, going 1-4 to the under so far. So that kind of solidifies Munchie's position a little bit, I would say. Louisiana Tech is 6-2 against the spread. Their last 8 games as a home underdog. That's something I like, and I'll be on them here in this one. Western Kentucky with Helton, 6-3-1 against the spread as a road favorite. But this one's a little bit different. We're still Western Kentucky. You never always respect the passing game. Look, this quarterback threw 40 touchdowns last season, so you're not going to put that by him. And Western Kentucky in this conference, they've been dominating. It's hard I can't make a case for them not covering because they've covered 13 of their last 18 conference games. So they've gone under in 3 of their 4 games against Division I competition. So if you put that together, they both had 1 game so far against a 1AA opponent. But if you put their games together against 1A competition, that's 2-7 to the under so far. So Nathan says, how about 33-23? Now I hope it's an upset then, because I'm taking Louisiana Tech in this one, plus the points against Western Kentucky. And this should be a good one. I think this is the game of the night. I'm on the dog here. I think it is going to be a 1-score game, come down to the wire. There'll be some volatility in there. Louisiana Tech feels definitely live to me against Western Kentucky. Look, Western Kentucky, always fun, still strong, no doubt about it. Fun to watch, but they're giving up some numbers too, no doubt. All right, that's a look at the card today, the big card. So if you want to hang out and listen to me talk about a few NFL games, stick around. I'm going to run some, good point, Mike. Have some fun tonight, maybe. Right, Terrell? I thought I had an under in that game, and I felt pretty good, even with, after 3 quarters. But a couple of quick scores, and all of a sudden I'm trying to, fight it off, and I've got a few other L's. and I was not happy. Yep, we're going to preview it right now, Solo. It's not much of a preview. I mean, it's a preseason game from the United Arab Emirates, but I've got a little play for you. It might be more market related than anything else. There wasn't much news on the game, on the game, on what the teams have been up to, and I certainly got into this probably. I mean, kind of with the other games, you have your stats, your database, so you got to do a little extra research on the NBA preseason with maybe looking into some news, some some X, if you know what that is, and just trying to see if there's any kind of with the rotations and everything. And yeah, there is a little bit of news there. So and again, it's kind of what you'd maybe expect from a game like this. So these two teams, and I don't know if we're going to preview every day, all of the NBA preseason games, especially when we get to the weekend and there's a bunch of football and whatnot. But on a day like today, where we're all going to be, maybe checking this one out here in 3 hours, Mavericks versus Timberwolves from United Arab Emirates. So that should be fun. And I've actually got a pretty strong play on this one that the first game out of the blocks, and I kind of want to go premium because I'm excited to get some real NBA, but this total's dropped pretty big. It opened 220, or it opened 230.5, is all the way down to two. Actually, it might actually be back up to 224.5. So a little bit of move back here. Let me see. 224.5, but I'll even grade it at 223.5. I feel that strongly about it. I think that because of the nature of where the game is, I think that will limit the travel involved in this game. They're going to play again, but I'm going under, and I like it actually very strong, but it's really not based on much of the personnel or rotations. I think the situation itself, the setting itself in the United Arab Emirates, I'm just, a little bit of a hunch play to a certain extent, but I think it will be affecting I already see, look, I think if you went into this game thinking, hey, it's a preseason game, I don't know what you guys think are going to happen in the preseason right now. Thank you, Terrell, for your great update as well. But I'm going under. I actually think it's going to be, I'll just call it in the 215 range. How's that? And maybe, it's a free play. It's preseason. We're going to enjoy watching a game. And I don't know who's going to win. That's the toughest part of a preseason game for me. But I think where the like on anything, I just feel like totals are more predictable. Now, this difference from this and a regular season game where there's maybe a ton of data and all that. And I'm all about the data. But, yeah, Nathan, in fact, a lot of the books just getting moving on the line. I think you will see at most books a line. In fact, I'm seeing all of them starting to pop up kind of right now. Looks like DraftKings actually doesn't have it out yet, but other books do. And mostly looking at 1.5, 224.5. I'm grading it at 223.5 because actually I feel like very, very strong. If it wasn't the first game of preseason, I don't even know how I can quantify that. This is like as close to a premium as I can get. The fact that it's the first game of the preseason, who wants to throw a premium out there? But I'm feeling I like this game. And hopefully it'll cheer me up after some losses last night. I'm going to be I will be wagering more than my look, preseason. We're not, you better be, kind of like my hockey. Thank you, Nathan, for those plays as well. I haven't gotten that far yet. So appreciate that. But like I said, check out my Discord. I gave out two more. I think it was 5-1 in the Discord. I won somewhere yesterday. I guess if we give out enough plays, you're going to win one. But yeah, I think we went 5-1. Those Discord plays yesterday. It's on DK double set. Okay, it's going to be fun. And we do want a little daytime action. We don't got any baseball or anything like that. So I've got a strong play on the under here, guys. Come in here tomorrow and tease me while you betting NBA preseason first game out the blocks. I just feel like the game will be not as well played because of the and they've been there. It's a trip, it's planned, it's all that, but under for me, and got to respect that move right there. When this thing opened at the PointsBet opened this one 230.5. Then they were down to 226. The money just kept pouring in on the under. Bet Rivers had it at 225 and just kept getting pounded to the under. The sharps are all over. The sharps are betting this as much as they can, given the nature of this game. So, doubles. Let me see if I can get that for you. And I don't want to, keep up too much of our time here. I don't know if I can get it right away without doing some Googling. NBA TV. So all of them will have this game. Under has been pounded, Mike. There is no doubt about it. I mean, look, it's a preseason game. Like I said, there's going to be some limits and things like that. I mean, you're probably not going to be able to get off more than a dime or two on this one for the highest of rollers even. But, that's enough for us to make a living, right? And the under and right, that's my job. And Peasy here, great NBA analyst. So he took the T-Wolves. He says the same team used to playing each other, Mavericks, trying to figure out who their team is going to be. Appreciate that, Peasy, no doubt about it. Preseason, that's what it's all about. And I think I'm in agreement here with Peasy. And the fact that PC likes it. Thanks, you guys. Yep, I'm going to do a few NFL games right now, so appreciate you guys checking in. Enjoy this NBA game today, though. Here, and again, it's in 2 hours right now. It's in United Arab Emirates. All right, I'm going to some NFL here, if you don't mind. And talk about the early card for this week. All right. From the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in London, this is the Jaguars and the Bills in NFL action, early action. Again, another London game is the Jaguars. Now, maybe you guys saw I saw some. They were like, "Oh, this is great for the Jaguar. They get to stay in the same hotel." I thought what I read was, and I thought I was reading Jaguar, is that they actually changed hotels this week. And it shouldn't be Jaguars at Bills, obviously. It's Jaguars versus Bills, and if anything, like we said. But to me, the Jaguars. Look. I feel like that other stadium is kind of like the Jaguars' home, even though we say, "Oh, the Jaguars are kind of like the London's team because of Shad Khan and everything." Oops, I was teasing you guys about your graphics, and I've got one of my graphics are terrible. Okay, so here we are with the Bills favored here now against the Jaguars. Okay, so that's and that's been the talk this week about heading into the game. Is the fact the Jaguars, of course, they're when you're in those London stadiums, there's a billion jerseys, right? Everybody's wearing a different team, but the Jaguars, there's got to be more Jaguars jerseys than anybody else. I think if you're a sports fan, we know that England is pretty rabid sports fans. If that team's coming there enough, your owner's, from London, you're going to root for them. So anyway, here come the mighty Bills into town. They're favored by 5.5 points into town, into the metropolis of a city. And they're favored, right? And the Jaguars, 2-2. Have they been disappointing? Yeah, they've been disappointing. They're still 2-2. They're the Jaguars. Yeah, they're supposed to be a playoff team. I mean, remember, they were the ones that given Kansas City a hard time. They haven't looked quite as good as they may have last year. So, I don't know. In their 2 wins, they looked fine. In their losses, they looked downright bad. But I guess that's sports, if anything. The Bills, just when we were about to bury Josh Allen, they've outscored their last 3 opponents 103-16. They're 50% on third down conversions. They continue to cover spreads left and right when they're favored. Don't forget. I mean, they've long since passed up bargain time, right? We expect the Bills to have to lay points down. They're still covering games. They're getting off to fast starts. They're outscoring opponents 81-27 in the first half, and they've been dominating in the second half of late as well. Last 3 games, they've outscored the opposition 55-9. The Bills look like the Bills all of a sudden. Let's hope, fun, like they got up to that, the loss. Let's just call it for what it is. And you're like, Josh Allen is making all these mistakes, turnover city, and the games are long. The season's long, right? You're relying on your talent, so you're Josh Allen. You're just out there chucking it. And if you're as good as he is, and they say, hey, dial it back a little bit, you probably can. He obviously did. Hey, let me not take as many chances. Let me rely on some of the talent. I don't need to do it all. It's a great lesson for a quarterback. And now look what the Bills are doing all of a sudden, right? I mean, they are to be reckoned with. I mean, they are again with the Chiefs. They're, we already know we saw. Don't think that as confident a boost that was to beat the Dolphins. There was no problem with what the Dolphins did. Those are going to be great games. The Dolphins can compete. It's just, if it comes down to some situation where, in December where you got a Dolphin team going up to Buffalo, well, that does make it difficult. But just because the Bills kind of got the upper hand, I think the Dolphins are still pretty good, and they were coming off the massive points. So but the Bills earned what they earned, and they're, right now they're back, right? Do we agree? Do we agree the Bills are kind of back? Glad you guys are sticking around today to give me some of these, at least on this play. Are they going to doubles? They're not going to do Toy Story again, are they? But I did actually watch some of it, believe it or not, and I didn't mind it. Actually, the first time I watched it for probably 5, and I turned it off. I said, I can't do it. I can't do it right now. And then as the game kind of became more decided, if you will, the tone of the game, then I said, oh, okay, I'm going to go back. And I actually watched like the last, probably almost the whole second half on the Toy Story game. I don't know. I don't know why I did that, actually. I thought the commentary was actually pretty good. I know there was some controversy with that, right? What did they say? Was it Booger that said something a little bit off color as far as, you know what I mean, you guys. But it was like a little bit of a risque comment. What was it? I remember there was some talk about it. It was something that you might hear jokingly, though, on a regular, maybe even cross the line a little bit. But Darren says, give me the Bills and over. Ray says, lean the Jaguars and over in this one. And let's see here. Nathan. A lot of people getting on the Jaguars. But they are distracted. Are they distracted by being the favorite team of England? Buffalo, I don't know. I'm trying to get with you, Nathan, on that. I know I'm never going to call you out. I want to know what's going on. I'm trying to wonder what the distraction would be. Like I said, Jackson, they've been there for a week. The the storyline here, right? I mean, and I think you guys all know it too, but you have Super Bills coming in against the home team, right? The home team, and they've been there for a week, um, if anything. So now Jacksonville, let's see. Right now, 7-6 last 13 as an underdog. That doesn't really give us anything. 9-13 against the spread. Last 22 off of a victory. I think you just got to kind of paint this one in the theme of, playoff caliber team, 6 points on a neutral. But Buffalo is just so hot right now. The look-ahead line in this game was like 3.5, and now you're dealing with almost a touchdown. There's not much value on the value, quote unquote, is on the Jaguars. That doesn't mean most people say, oh, I think the value, so I'm taking them because I think that's the value. To me, I'm going to give the play here in just a moment. But to me, even if I were to take the Bills, to me, the value is on the Jaguars. It doesn't mean I'm going to be on them necessarily. Let me know what you think about that. And here's Solo says Jaguars plus 5.5. I know what you mean. Probably just set it in there. Thomas, okay. And Thomas on Buffalo here. And they let the Sharps take the value. All right. All right, Jaguars, they do force turnovers, I think, for Allen. I think, we may see some regression a little bit from Allen. I mean, this has been a pretty good run for him, and I'm going to say that he's going to be, now that we're starting to gain more sample size with Allen. Look, at this point, he's still a quarterback trying to win a Super Bowl, of course. But I think what we're going to get from Allen moving forward in his career are ups and downs, inconsistency, no doubt about it. I think there is something to the Jaguars' rest here, but the comfortability of them being at home is what I feel like. But I still want to lay I just think the Bills are just enough to get this here, especially at 5.5. That's the line that I'm faced with here, and I'm going to go with the Bills here to cover this number. They've gone over in 6 of the last 8 meetings. We did it last week. We talked about the unders in the games across the pond a little bit. Now, the line's significant, 48.5 for these London games. I mean, that is much bigger than what we're used to. Now, we had the under last week, and in that game, remember, we pointed out that at Wembley Stadium, all 6 games had gone under the total previously. Now it's 7-0 to the under at Wembley Stadium. Now this is at Tottenham Hotspur. You saw the field at Wembley Stadium. It's like pretty. It looked like the rug from Toy Story, right? It looked kind of fake, or it's a pitch, right? It's not a pitch. It's not a field. It's a pitch. So I thought it was a slow track last week for sure. Now this game will be a different venue, and at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, this stadium is brand new. Well, I say brand new; it's like 3 or 4 years old. But the Wembley games have been low scoring. The games they've actually played here have gone over. They've played here now 6 times, and the games have gone over 5-1. Now I don't know about this matchup necessarily. I know what we're dealing with. We got Lawrence. We've got we've got Allen. I get that. So thank you, Darren. Yep, let's go over this. But so 5-1, the games have been at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. The average final of the games at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in those 6 NFL games have been 50 points. So it's complete opposite. Now, this total look, I want to tell you those stats, and I want to say, look, this one has more of, but I think it's already reflected in the line at 48.5. So I kind of want to try to give these teams a little bit of respect on defense. So, and I think maybe that's why that total is so high. And I think you can expect it to get close, but maybe it's built in a little bit too much. And with me being, an under player, here comes Nathan with the comment. Maybe I can get behind this. I lean under 48.5 because I think time of possession, the Jags could force a few turnovers. Well, turnovers to me, Nathan, are going to be random. So, of course, they could force a few, no doubt about it. But I think what you said before there, the time of possession game, and I think both teams, always. I mean, it goes without saying. I think, but what we're seeing from the Bills now, look, if they get into some situation where this is a close game and then Josh Allen starts to lose his mind, there you go. Maybe that's how the Jaguars could force a few turnovers. But I think with Allen at this point, he feels confident enough in the way the Bills are playing, right? He's cut the mistakes, and now the Bills are kicking butt, right? There's no doubt. Everybody said, look at this guy. He's out of control. He's turning the ball over. He's trying to do too much. He's running from the pocket. He's dropping the ball. He's getting picked off. He put that in his mind. Just go out there and don't make any mistakes. Avoid the criticism. And, of course, it works because that's how football works. Play within the system. Especially when you got a team like the Bills. It's not just Josh Allen, right? The Bills have been building. The Bills have been building. Right? They're still trying to get there. They have a Super Bowl contender. That's not because of one man. They have great talent. Look at the great talented receivers they have, right? We know Diggs is great, but Gabe Davis, right? Is he still one of the most underrated receivers in the league? Every time, right? When the big catch, Diggs is there. But when the big catch needs to be made, it's Gabe Davis. So they have all that talent on all over the field. So just play within yourself, and then and that leads to controlling the ball, owning the game a little bit. All right. Great comments. Thanks for sticking around, you guys, today. Sometimes I get a little lonely, Thomas and I, on these football previews. No one hangs out with us for a while. So let's try to do a few more if you guys are have some time here. And give me some additional information. Give me some additional help here on these NFL games. But I'm going to take the Bills as my free play on the show. And if anything, look, Jaguars, Falcons, that was fun. And what did you say, guys? Is there Toy Story or what? Is there going to be some secondary coverage this week to look at? I don't know. I thought it was cool. I tried to watch those slime games a little bit before, but this one was better, and it was cute. He had the little. What was the one? I'm trying to prove to you guys I watched it. They had they cut to the sidelines for the dancing. What was I don't know Toy Story. I don't have a family. I don't have any kids. The cowboy guy was dancing with the girl. What was that, you guys? All right. Falcons here in this one. The Falcons, a 1.5-point favorite. They definitely opened a bigger favorite here, but we're starting to have some question marks a little bit with Ritter, and why wouldn't we? I mean, right? Nobody was saying that Desmond Ritter is going to come into the league. We just said that for what was expected for Ritter, we're getting something a little more. But he's giving a little bit back right now. As far as C.J. Stroud is concerned, we could spend the next 20 minutes talking about C.J. Stroud and not have a problem. This is exciting. I mean, could this be real? If you're the Texans, you already have it feels right? It feels right with DeMeco Ryans and the type of culture, atmosphere, defense that the Texans can be known for. That's what it feels like to me. And if you've got a guy like Stroud who can make plays and avoid mistakes, that's going to take you a long way. And, you can, in this league, you can close the gap real fast. I mean, I think we're seeing Texans already have 2 wins. And people were wondering if they could get 2 wins, right? So the last 2 games, 67 points in the last 2 games, averaging nearly 10 yards per pass attempt for C.J. Stroud. He's the guy we're all talking about and, listening to him, right? He's talking like a rookie a little bit, but it just feels like he knows what's being taught. He already gets it. And let me not get too excited because he's, just a rookie. But again, and I will hearken back to comments that I've made since the start of the season about my affinity for the rookie class for these quarterbacks. Now, is it going to go up there with the all-time? It might go up there because there's not a whole lot of them as far as there's only like 2 or 3 we're like, remember that year, remember this might be one of them. Or if you can get a couple of starters out of it, that's a good and I don't know. So far, so good. Ray Otachi's on the Falcons. Nathan says, give me the Texans here in this one. Well, I'm talking up Stroud. I'm going to probably end up on the Falcons, but I just want to, certainly say that everything, I don't think it's a fluke. It looks pretty good to me so far with Stroud. I think everyone can agree. But so the Texans do have some issues in some of these games, certainly. And Atlanta coming back, don't forget, they're coming back over from England. Thomas is here on the Texans in this one. Texans, they've converted on 27 of 57 third down attempts. 31 of 64. 31 of 64 third down attempts. So decent, no doubt about it. Houston, 6-4-1 against the number last 11 as a road dog. But concerning their non-conference record is pretty bad. Nathan says, don't do it with the Falcons. I love Arthur Smith. So that's the problem. And I think he's been able to do some things. Look, I'm on this Texans bandwagon a little bit. No doubt about it. I just don't know if I am here. The move is totally to the Texans here, right? Although I did see one book go all the way to a pick'em at one point. And now it's back to Atlanta 1.5. But like I said, this did open 3.5. Atlanta scored 24 points, 25 points in those 2 victories. In the 2 losses, just 6 points and 7 points. You get the choice. The league says, hey, when you're coming back from England, do you want your bye week after that week? They let the team choose. Atlanta chose not to. They chose a game. They said, give us a game. I don't think they know which game they're getting. I mean, I don't think that's how it works. But they do ask the teams, if I'm not mistaken, do you want the bye week then? And they chose not to. So here's Nathan says Texans first half and first half under. Yeah, you mean the old Houston defense, right, Thomas? The J.J. Watt. Remember how good they were? Remember great pass rushers they had, coming from both sides. They had good side. Remember, that's what helped them in that the good teams that they had. Now, Atlanta has gone under in 10 of their last 12 games of late right now. So you guys aren't going to like it, but I'm probably going to end up on Atlanta here. Remember, you love Stroud. I'm here to tell you, like Brad Powers. Whenever you hear, because Brad Powers pretty good, pretty noteworthy handicapper. Whenever he says that, I'm here to tell you, that's like the E.F. Hutton moment, I'm not going to say that my pick here, my free pick on the show is worthy of that, but I'm going to take Atlanta here. You still have a rookie quarterback on the road here. Yeah, Ritter might be almost considered the same, but he does have 8 starts under his belt. He is 4-4 here. Look, love Stroud. Love everything the Texans are doing. And, I think the move, right, you guys tell me if I'm wrong, but to me, I feel like the move is built in a little bit on the travel a little bit with the Falcons coming back. They were favored a little bit more. There is some momentum, obviously, for the Texans. No, still an NFL game for me, and I'm going to end up on the home team here. Free play here on the show. My play is on the Atlanta Falcons to win this game. I'll lay the 1.5, of course, here for show purposes. Well, the Panthers are going to take on the Lions in this one. And, man, the Lions are up to a double-digit favorite for every time we're getting a new record of the Lions haven't been favored in this role. They haven't been favored by this many. They haven't been never gone into this. So it's all when you start hearing that, that's like it's time. It's time. It's time for some kind of magic, some deep run, something they've never done before. Now, the Lions aren't going to win the Super Bowl this year, are they? I don't know. It's pretty fun right now, no doubt. Now, they were dominant in those wins, certainly, but remember they gave up 37 points also in a loss. Now, they played on Thursday last week, so they're getting a little bit of extra time here to prepare for this one. Campbell is, we love him because he makes money, right? I don't know how you evaluate your head coaches. Spread record is like the number one criteria for me, and no doubt. I mean, it's been part of the building process. That's why you cover spreads. You were terrible, and now you're decent. But Campbell's a man that has been responsible for it. Under Campbell, the Lions are 9-3 against the spread, coming off of a win. So they're probably in decent position here. It does feel a little bit worrisome to me as far as the number now here is concerned. I mean, can you really lay double digits with this team? Oh, that feels a little bit uncomfortable. For the Panthers, of course, they've 0-4. I mean, that's why this spread is what it is. That's why it is a runaway spread, I would think. The look-ahead line was Lions -5. That almost seems like it was too high to a certain extent, considering it was a look-ahead line, basically a couple of weeks before what we see now. But when you're 0-4. You haven't covered a spread yet. Yeah, okay, maybe one was a push. I don't know if anybody got a win out of that. I think it was a loss for most, right? You've only scored so far, 16 points a game, maybe, right? Is that what they're averaging? Now, the game that Dalton started was the game they scored the 27 points. And with Young, and again, I'm on these starters. I'm still supporting Young to a certain extent, but maybe he should be watching from the sidelines right now, like you should do with a rookie quarterback in most every case, especially if they start slowly. Now, if you got a guy like C.J. Stroud that gets it right away, you'll roll with it. That's why you see rookie quarterbacks often hit the bench, if they don't make it, and the second or third, and then you can come back later with your rookie quarterback. Just have them take a step back. The game goes a little bit faster. So, Bryce Young's 3 starts, the pass attempt, yards per pass attempt, one of the most important statistics to me out there. Basically averaging 3.5 yards, 3.5 yards per pass attempt. Remember, we just equated it to talking about C.J. Stroud the last 2 games, 10 yards per pass attempt, nearly 10 yards per pass attempt. Here's Bryce Young, barely over 3.5 yards per pass attempt. So one problem, I was talking up the Carolina receivers because I'm not as to the trained eye. I've got to rely on Pro Football Focus and the next gen stats and all that. I wasn't a great football player. Now, can I evaluate whether a team is going to win? I hope so. But to me, I saw the Panthers receivers. I'm like, wow, look at these guys. They got veterans with hands, right? They are slow as molasses. Slow receivers are the Panthers. Now, one thing, they're obviously conditioned very well. They're finishing games pretty strong. So that's why the double digits bothers me a little bit. They've been outscored, though, big time in the second half. I don't have any numbers to prove it. I just trying to find a way to get on the Panthers a little bit here. They've actually been outscored 70-31. So what was I I'm just trying to think of those second halves here necessarily to me. And again, maybe I'm thinking of that Dalton game because it was just such a contrast to the Bryce Young games. And Bryce Young, look, to me, he's had a few moments, especially early on, but he should probably have already hit the bench and then come back. There's nothing wrong with even if, it's Bryce Young. Yeah, the pressure's on because you drafted a quarterback. And that's the way it's supposed to work nowadays, unfortunately. But think of a quarter, maybe we've missed out on some quarterbacks by just taking a step back. Now, I'm not going back to the Jordan Love thing just yet. With it, because he looked poor in the last game, but we'll talk about him later. All right, Thomas says he has to take the Lions at home. And Mike says it's hard to be laying double digits here with Detroit. No doubt about it. This is still a pro football game, right? But right now, Detroit's rolling through everybody. It seems like. Seems like a fun time to be a Lions fan. Thomas says he'll keep it high now that you got it at 10. You don't want to let them go through those numbers. Nathan says 34-17. That'd go over 51. All right. Well, I guess I'm going to have to make the call. Hey, Detroit, they've scored 10 touchdowns on 33 drives this season. And Goff looks like what does he look like? The old Goff? Is he a new Goff? Is he good Goff one week and bad Goff the next? So there's a difference here certainly right now between these two teams. Now they do have a little bit of a series history in the conference a little bit. Carolina's done pretty well, winning 8 of the last 10 meetings between the two. In the conference, they faced each other a little bit more than a regular inter-conference matchup. If I said that right, intra, you know what I mean, NFC versus NFC. You guys, you know what I mean. Carolina 17, 25, and 2 against the spread, coming off of a loss. They're also 6 and 10 against the number last 16 as a road dog. And man, they're just not as in sync, not as in sync right now with Bryce Young in there as opposed to when Andy Dalton's in there. That's just the way it is. And there's no problem, to have Andy Dalton on the bench. Thank you, Nathan. Here comes his teaser. Let's take a look. Detroit minus 5.5 and over 45.5. On what is that, a 4.5 point teaser? What is this, a basketball game or something? Probably a good payout, right? I mean, that's got to be a little bit better than a teaser, and that's what you need nowadays, right? The way they charge them, I mean, the way they charge you on these teasers, and believe me, I've got. By the time Sunday rolls around, I mean, teaser is my favorite bet. Maybe I'm a degenerate. I mean, I don't sell any teasers on the site. We give out picks. But I've got, every conceivable combination of the sides and totals that I like. And then one thing it does do, and here's why I like to say that I'm a professional. I mean, I can't sit here all day and we're getting out exact, but I mean, once you get a few teasers rolling, it does open up the windows, especially for those late NFL. We talk about how NFL, okay, yes, so I'm hitting 70% so far on the site in NFL. I say it is the easiest to handicap, but the toughest to beat, right? Because the game always ends up, I'll say always, I'm making a generalization, but more likely than not with NFL that the game is like ending right where the total, like right where it's supposed to be, side and total, right? It's just you need to be on the right side of those. But when you've already opened up several teasers and the game's coming down where you want to earn, and you don't know, a lot of times, yeah, we're trying to hope to be on the right side as gamblers, as sports bettors. But when you have something coming down to the wire and you know it's going to be coming down the last two possessions and you already have booked a win that you know is coming because this game is not going to end up on two scores, then all of a sudden you can lock in your profit and just get out of the bet. Not counting that as, talking about just straight betting, premium picks, and all that. All right, enough hemming and hawing here in this one with the Panthers and the Lions, and just unsure right now myself as far as the side is concerned because the total is just the side has ended up going just a little bit too high here for me is what it feels like at 10 points. I kind of agree with you guys talking about don't necessarily want to lay double digits here right now. In this one. So I'll end up on the total here, and at 45, I could only go under here as my pick on the show. Yeah, Carolina team that right now with Bryce Young is going to be difficult. Please don't make any mistakes, Bryce, that end up in short fields and touchdowns, as that will spell doom. Hopefully we're reeling them in here a little bit, and it's going to be slow prodding. If we had Dalton in here, man, we'd be going over this total so fast. We would be like lightning. Of course, our total probably wouldn't be 45 if Dalton was in. So, Mike says last time Detroit was a 9.5 point underdog and they lost by 3. Well, yeah, now it's time. How the times have changed. I'm on the under in this one, 45, with a rookie quarterback on the road. The Lions can dictate this game from the get-go. They don't even need to be explosive. They can methodically win this one, and hopefully that's what they'll do. I do feel like there's a volatility in that game because of the high spread that even puts the total in jeopardy, but I can only go under, especially if it's going higher. It's obviously going higher. I saw as low as 43.5, and now it's up to 45. If Bryce Young gets knocked out in the first series and Andy Dalton's in, all bets are off. We're going over. All right, can I put that caveat in there? I'll come in here and say I lost, but I'm going to say, yeah, but just remember what I said. Dalton came into the game in the second series, and I was probably, and the thing is, if something like that were to happen, you don't want to. We're not rooting for an injury at all, and that's the only way Bryce Young will be coming out of the game. Unfortunately, I don't even think they could make a halftime change, but that'd be already be down. But you want Dalton in there in a game like this. I don't know what the Panthers are doing. Quite frankly, I know you're trying to build for the future. You will learn more on the bench watching Andy Dalton quarterback a professional football game. I'm sure Bryce Young is. Look, he's actually one of the biggest students of the game. Right? He's probably watched lots of. It's a lot different though when you're standing there on the sideline. You're not, remember he's been in football games for a couple of years in college, not watching a lot of, they all watch NFL and all that. You're watching on TV. You could sit there and learn from Andy Dalton. All right. Titans and the Colts here. Titans on the road, laying 2.5, and the total is 43. No doubt the Colts seem to have kind of opened at least as a pick 'em, right, in this one. And I don't know. I mean, I get it. You got another rookie quarterback in there, but it's my guy. It's Anthony Richardson. He's back, right? We'll check the injury report, but I'm pretty sure we're expecting Richardson. Now, we're not putting him up there at this point with C.J. Stroud, and right now, I guess the story with Richardson is he's injury prone. That bothers me a little bit because so far, like what I see out of a rookie quarterback. Now, of course, the big news here, again, it kind of goes against what we're seeing with the line to me. But Jonathan Taylor, he's upgraded to questionable. That's great news. I know he's still got the questionable tag, but I don't know. I'm watching this guy's injury history. Questionable is almost a probable tag for him. Now, maybe he won't be in there this week. Maybe that's where the news is built in. Okay, I'm sure it's built in the fact that yes, the Colts in their 2 wins so far. Okay, they've been a little shit, but they've won on the road. That's they lost at home. They won on the road. Hey, that's one thing. You want to win your home games. I get that. But, they've had some offense, not only with Richardson, but with the stash as well. This total sitting currently at 43. It was as low as 42, but 3 of the 4 Colts games have gone over so far. And, this move to the Titans, I just doesn't feel quite right. I don't think anybody's too excited about the Titans at this point, are they? The Colts seem to have a decent building situation. You want to say, hey, you know what? Irsay's kind of goofy. Finds a way to screw things up or whatever. But seems like he's hired a pretty good coach. The Titans are in a situation where they do cover a lot of games in this type of role, especially coming off of a win. They're 12-6 against the spread their last 18 in closely rated games under a field goal. 10-5-1 against the spread their last 16. Division games on the road, they're 9-3 against the spread last 12. And the Colts are not really in the best position. They don't cover games at home very well. 7-12 their last 19. But I don't want to lay points on the road at all with the Titans in this spot. And I hope Anthony Richardson doesn't get hurt. I am talking about each rookie quarterback for what it is. And I think Bryce Young can still go, I'm fine with it. right now I'm fine with Anthony Richardson starting these games. I'm not in favor of him being behind. I think having Andy Dalton out there is a little bit different than having the stash out there. I'd take Richardson right now. Plus, he can run. He's proven it. Look at the rushing touchdowns. This guy's already kind of, setting the pace a little bit ahead of pace for a rookie quarterback. How many times he scores rushing touchdowns? That's good. That's a good sign. That's a real good sign. So I like what the Colts are doing. And the Titans have had 2 games so far where they haven't even scored a touchdown. We know Tannehill. It's hit and miss, right? Right now it's a miss. It's not. Tannehill stock, his arrow is red and pointing down at this point. There are more. You still have his moment. You're not giving up on Tannehill. You're not. This is your guy. This is your guy, and you're the Titans. And if anything, right now you're going to be looking at a, kind of a situation where we're going to take you as far as the combination of players is going to get you when you're talking about the Titans. So the Colts have, the one problem they have is the rushing defense here, and Titans obviously can run the ball. So maybe that's part of the line move. I don't know. I just come on here. I watch a lot of talking heads. I think, maybe the Titans, because they're supposedly better than the Colts, right? And they probably are. But this is still NFL football. I want to take home dogs. Thomas Lewis says, what about Tennessee coach Mike Vrabel? What about? I think he's pretty good, Thomas. I definitely think that they definitely look. The Colts, they're learning, right? They're a coaching staff that's learning. I just think looks like they made the right choice. I think Colts are going in the right direction. They've scored at least 21 points in all 4 games so far. This is the Colts. Not a lot of expectations. They didn't have a lot of expectations. They've exceeded expectations, right, so far. Now the Titans have been owning these guys of late. They've won and covered the last 4 meetings, remember, and these are division opponents. So for Tennessee, they've covered 5 of the last 6 trips in here. And but for me, I want to take these points at home. I'm taking it plus 2.5 here on the screen, but this is a pro football game, so I'm going to be buying it up to 3. I'm going to be buying up to 3.5 as much as I can afford. I'm buying a few extra points with a home team in an NFL game where I'm expecting it to be certainly decided by around a field goal. It feels like to me no more than a field goal victory for the Titans. That'd have to be the maximum result for me. I don't see the Titans here winning by more than, even a touchdown in this one. And I'm pro Anthony Richardson at this point. Hope he doesn't get hurt. Hope he is the one that remains in, and hope he stays cool. Hope he does the things that we saw him do. Remember, hello, Stephen. Nice to have you. And no, in fact, Mindy, she's got her own show now, and it comes on at 1 Eastern and 10 a.m. Pacific. Midday plays. She's joined by her sister. They preview a couple of games, give out a couple of picks, a couple of trends, and it's a great show. And it's at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. So I thought that they were taking her away, and I was sad. But then when I saw that she had her, I was so happy and excited again. So it's tough here without Mindy, believe me. It was a life-changing year, but and I'm not supposed to get into it anymore, but thank you for your comments on that. All right, so the Colts for me as a home dog, that's where I'm going. They haven't looked good at home. They're supposed to be better at home. I think Colts can be a little bit excited about their potential. The Titans are often fueled by disappointment. Derrick Henry always needs more carries, but also Derrick Henry does need he needs what do they call it in the workload management, right? Derrick Henry really, we want to feed him, but we need to save him for those moments because he is a guy, right? We're always thinking about those times at the end of the season when the Titans, at this point, last couple, like they're at that finally at that moment where their season is on the line, they're running short of their goals and whatnot, and you just need a few more yards. And you think about Derrick Henry, and he's getting the ball, and you just wish some of those games he wasn't getting 35 carries or whatever. But he, as far as workload backs in the league, there's nothing, nobody better maybe than Derrick Henry. But just look at the way running backs are treated here a little bit, and what here's the thing: when other teams aren't spending on running backs, you should spend on running backs. Kind of like the old fantasy theory, right? And I don't know. If anything, maybe some of these GMs should try being in fantasy leagues and trying to manage running backs off the waiver wire and things like that. Because I don't want to ever call a football player a dime a dozen, but running backs are only as good as their parts, right? That's the most terrible thing about the position are the catastrophic injuries, because while it sucks to get one, once you do, and if you're a running back with someone who can look, there's a difference between a bruising basher that he could come back and still never probably going to get that power back, or well, the rehab you can, but the breakaway speed guys. Who's the guy? You guys that just this season has made a comeback, and he got injured again, right? The Ravens running back who's already been injured. Oh my God, you guys! And he was running, and he couldn't run. He'd already come back from surgery, and he was running down the field very slowly because he's like not even all the way back. You're like, God, this guy was really great. TJ Duckett, what's his name? You guys. I'm really good. I'm so, you guys know I'm really great with personnel. I think more brain cells have left my brain over the years. That's what it is. But you saw he's already out for the season. You guys know who it is. Anyways, here let's be on the Colts in this one and hope for more running backs. Stay with it, running backs. You can get your chance. I mean, they're not like going away. All right, you can't. There's always going to be someone to pay out there that's above the rest. But the short term, it's going to be hard. It's hard to get long term contracts for running backs, and the ones that are highly paid, are kind of being retro paid, like when they do a job for several years and they were always underpaid. So, all right, let's get into a few more here, guys. Sorry, love talking this stuff with you, and this is why they don't want me to talk. Sometimes Dolphins, double-digit favorite here now, 11 points over the Giants. Oh, this is terrible with the Giants right now, isn't it? It just feels pretty bad here. I feel bad for them. And now they're on a short week after only scoring 3 points in that game. And how could I even think that the Giants were going to – I was on the Giants, you guys, on the show here, right? Was that what we were on? So, yeah, we, certainly thought about the under. We know that. But the Giants are just – they come out so slow. They're getting dominated early on, and they're not able to produce much on offense here at this point. Just a comedy of errors out there, it seems like. They're throwing the tablets around. Now, it's funny because Daboll so far, this is like his best role as a road underdog, 6-2 against the spread. Yeah, we know which one they lost, but that was the first time the only time they've been a road dog so far. Remember the Cardinal game, a road favorite, but so 0-1 right now, but they're going like half the game they don't score. You can't have that. And they have last 2 games 1 touchdown. 8 3-and-outs. Saquon, look at, I don't want to say Saquon, but you see the short lifespan maybe of running backs. But a lot has to do with offensive line. I mean, what happened in that game was not on Daniel Jones necessarily. I mean, it looked bad. We're all making fun of him, but you saw the key injury. They have to shift over to get a new center right in the middle of the first half, basically. And while it worked for a player too, I was all fired up for him. Good for you, offensive line. Look at that. You had to you lost a second key player. JMS goes out, shift the guard over to center. Another guy comes in who hadn't played in a year, was a former starter, wasn't very good. He was getting exploited by the end of the game. He was the guy that kept picking on him. And, the pass rush was just too much. I mean, the Seahawks, I mean, they had, what did they have? 12 sacks, 9 sacks, 10 sacks? I don't know what they had. They just kept sacking him. And it was because the offensive line, it was one of I think it had the worst performance at the PFF of the season for an offensive line. But I mean, they doesn't necessarily mean they fixed things, but at least you got a week to prepare. But just goes to show you how unprepared they were, and that's not good. They probably still are a little thin. Steven says, Dolphins cover and cover and cover. I love Coach Logic. Who doesn't? I mean, it just looks like he knows. It looks like he knows what he's doing, even if he didn't. Ray's on the Dolphins. Thomas is on the Dolphins. Now, the Miami's won and covered 3 of their first 4 here. They're averaging 37.5 points per game. We know the Giants are, a pretty solid under team. That's for sure. I'm sure, it has to do with how poor this offense has been. But feels like to me at 48.5, I know we're going to rely on the Dolphins to probably score a lot of points. But what are the Giants really going to do in this game right now? There just doesn't seem to be much hope. We sit there and make fun of who is the worst team right now, and we make fun of the Bears and the Broncos in that game last week, but can't necessarily think the Giants aren't with those 2 teams the way it's going right now. Dolphins have 20 touchdowns on 44 drives so far this season. They've gone over in 3 of 4 games here. It feels like yeah, Stephen, but maybe, maybe a subpar quarterback on a bad team, right, is what it feels like to me now. And that's a bad recipe, I think, to a certain extent. So for me, I kind of want to look to the total here in this one. I think feels like Dolphins. I feel like the Dolphins can actually get double digits here. Maybe that's what I should be laying here on the show. Let's see what you guys. It's all Dolphins for you guys. How can and right now, right? I mean, Jones is not. It feels like, I'm not saying you're going to be more comfortable at home, but Jones feels like he can scramble a little better for some reason when he's at home. Right now, the pressure is just too much. He's probably not even the type of quarterback that you need for if your offensive line is in such a disaster mode as this one. But there's no doubt, you guys. I mean, the Seattle Seahawks don't go around sacking the universe. And that's what they did against the Giants. And the Giants were already having some problems with pass protection and things like that. But once that injury happened, that's why you got that record-setting or whatever it was. It was a massive number of sacks by the end of the game, right? They were 8, 9. What was it? I'm not the type of guy. I don't have all those stats right here in front of me on that one. So under is the play for Stephen. He says an absolute blowout. Let me tell you this, Stephen. If you think under is the play, and that is what you're saying about, and you're a great contributor to this. But if you're saying 37-10, under is the play, no, sir. If you're saying that the Dolphins are the play, you have the Dolphins winning there by 27 points in a game they're favored by 11 points, and you have the total there at 47 and a total that is on the board at 48 and a half, 48 and a half. You're actually right on with the total. You have the Dolphins and an absolute blowout. Whereas the odds makers are trying to tell you that the final score of this game is going to be somewhere in the 31-21 range, 28-21, 28-20, 28-19. So, and great point there by Neil, the 70 points. And, so there is something to that as well. But I actually like where Steven is going with it, because I feel like, but I'm going to lay, okay. I'm going to lay the points on the show. I'm going to lay 11 points on the show, because I'm not sure I can be a premium. I don't know if I can lay 11 points right now as a premium. I could do anything I want. Especially with my NFL record right now. It's pretty darn good. NFL premiums. I don't think I'm number one on the site, but if I'm not, I'm number two. Got another game or two here, but just want to show you could go over to the Handicapper Leaderboard 2.0. You check out who's hot. You click on NFL, and for the last, let's see. You can go the last 30 days. I think we're in there. There it is. I am number one. Okay. 67%. That's all. NFL last 30 days. I think we're in 1 month into the season, right? Every team's got 4 games. And, I'm playing a pretty high volume. Probably 2/3 of every game has a premium on it. But this is the NFL. I'm going to have premiums in almost every game. This is the sport, and this is my sport. And 67% on my premiums. Little commercial here, plug, as I lay 11 points with Miami, and I don't want to do it as a premium because I'm 67%, and I don't want to lay 11 points. So, all right, you guys, I'm having a little fun here on a day without mini games. Let me lay 11 points here. I don't want to tip my hand on the total. That's probably going to be the premium. I better just stop talking about it. The Saints are going to come in and take on the Patriots. And what's going on with the Patriots? And why are they only a 1-point favorite against the Saints? Don't they know who the Patriots are? Don't they know about Mac? Now, why isn't Bailey Zappi? And first of all, is where I would start the discussion. You have the better quarterback. Maybe, I'm not there. I don't know. Maybe, I just know in the moments that we've seen Bailey Zappi play quarterback in a regulation NFL game, it's always been pretty decent, a little bit more explosive. Now, sometimes he's been in there in some mop up to, some other situations. Maybe it's a little easier or whatever, but we all know right now that, okay, the Patriots are a 500 team since Tom left. Now, I'm not one of these who's saying, it's obviously 90% Brady and 10% Belichick. There's a lot of dynamics that go into all of it. Maybe one of the reasons why the Patriots are hanging on here right now and still, but they're 1-3. It feels like they could still be a 500 club. It feels like that's what they'll be, battling for a playoff spot, is because of the coaching staff, the willing of good coaches to want to go there and coach, the willing of players to want to go there and play. In a situation where, Kraft reportedly treats the players pretty well. They don't mind going to New England. Now, there's obviously a problem with the offense. There's no doubt about it. And if anything, right, the Patriots have always kind of skimped by. Tom never had, right? He always made the players kind of better around him a little bit, right? He always kind of brought those receivers up. Yeah, there were a few spectacular receivers, but what they really ever had? They've been running back by committee for, I don't know, the whole time. It feels like, to a certain extent, right? The way the kind of got players come in and out of there, the end of their career, they never see a guy come burst on the scene. a little bit. And why are the Patriot quarterbacks always the ones that go on to have, even if modest success, they always go on to their next stop and be pretty good, whether or not they're a starter, a serviceable starter or a backup or whatever. They've gone on. We've talked about them before, the guys that have left the Patriots. So why, with Bailey Zappi, he could probably go to another team and they'd be like, well, there goes another Patriot quarterback. It just feels like it's not working out at this point with Mac Jones a little bit. He stands too stationary. Maybe he doesn't have any, the speed isn't there. He can't run or whatnot. So, but here you do have the Patriots back at home. Now the Saints are, things have been pretty decent so far. You have two good defensive teams here. Look at this total. It's 40, and you probably know what you're going to get with this game, especially with the Patriots with that 1-3 start so far. I mean, look at some of these point totals so far. I mean, they're all, it's terrible. 3 points, 15 points, 17 points, 20 points. And they've lost both games at home. Now, come on, the New England Patriots, you think they're going to lose another game at home? I don't know. I don't know if they are. I wouldn't trust the Saints to go on here on the road. Okay, Derek Carr is back. Thank goodness. Anybody who wanted Jameis Winston in there? Look, I guess if you had a backup, you need a guy in there for a play or two. But you got Jameis Winston, okay. And Steven says, how about his Pats? Thomas might be on New England. Alvin Kamara. Here's Ray. He says, give me the under in this one. So I'm not going to trust Derek Carr on the road at this point. I can barely trust him at home. I don't trust Mac Jones, but I trust him more at home. Patriots aren't getting numbers at home, but again, they've been more favored than they are now. All we're asking them to do here is win this game. And that's what I'm going to expect them to do. I'm going to expect the Patriots to win this game in a matchup of strictly mediocre teams. The Saints haven't crossed the line for me yet. I'm a huge Olave fan. He is one of my top players and favorite players. Still kind of underrated, I think, even though I think everyone knows that I know what Thomas is saying about the dangers of a player like Alvin Kamara. But Olave is one of the true deep threats with great hands. He's not even a tall, big type receiver, but he just will out jump you and do all that. He's great. I don't expect the New England Patriots right now, this program, to lose another home game at this point. Against Derek Carr, it's going to find it difficult enough against a Patriot defense in, yes, a game that certainly, as said by Steven there, this total was as high as 42. That was no good. This total is definitely at 40 right now, and it's going to be it's going to be under that, I'm sure. I'm not tipping my hand too much here, I hope. And but it's also getting pretty low. It's getting close, but not much of a chance, I would think, of many scores in this game. So I'm on the Patriots here at home, of course, against the Saints, and I like what the Saints are doing. Problem is they're not running the ball very well at all. If Kamara can get off, they get do something with their running game, then they will win. If they can win, if the Saints rush for over 100 yards, I think they'll win. I don't know if they can do that here. So, and one thing, here's the thing, Mac, right? You don't trust Mac on a 2-minute drive. The Saints are there right now. They are struggling late in halves. They don't have a clutch defense at this point. That's where they're kind of giving it up. And and offensively, no matter who you, I mean, Winston was a disaster. Should have saw that one coming right away. The later the change, that should have been a big red flag last week. They have 4 touchdowns so far, on offense. I gotta make that clear. And averaging just 15.5 points a game. Saints have gone under in all 4 games so far. I'm on the Patriots here to find a way to win this game. Could be some variance, could come down the wire. Be careful. This is that's why it's a free play, but I got to take the Patriots. All right. Stevens is under the first quarter. Question mark. If I'm going, yeah, I mean, I'm probably can, if I go, I'm never one to not, I saw the one parlay DraftKings released. They're like, oh, look at what these sports books. Remember, they release these parlays. Yeah, they're real winning parlays, but there have been lots of losers before and of course, they're going to feature one they paid out for $25,000 or whatever. But correlated parlays or non-correlated parlays. For example, asking about if I like under first quarter. If I like under in the game, I'm going to like under in every quarter. But the guy who won the big DraftKings parlay, one of the things was he had like an under in the baseball game, but a certain player to hit a homer. So it kind of increased his odds a little bit. One more here, and then we'll wrap it up. Thank you for joining me today. And boy, this is a big spread for the Ravens and the Steelers. I'm going to go back. I wish I would have prepared. I say I don't prepare. I spend a couple hours readying myself for the show with all my notes and computers and lines and picks all set up. But now one thing I want to know, and I didn't check, was when was the last time maybe there was a 4-point spread? I mean, that's not a big spread, but it feels like every other game is like 1 or 2 points, doesn't it? 4-point spread for this game feels like a touchdown to a certain extent. But we know that the Steelers had some issues last week with Pickett in there, and now his status is really, I think, why we're seeing this point spread what it is right now. But the news so far on Pickett is he's been upgraded to questionable. So I think that's a good sign moving forward. But I'm sure that's why the spread has moved higher here from as low as 1. I think the general opener was 2, quickly to 2.5, and now to 4.5. I believe that look-ahead line was 1. But Ravens here on the road against the Steelers team where this is always a good series for the Steelers, but we know the Steelers are probably more broken right now. It feels like they're 2-2, so no problem there. And look, they won that game against the Browns. I think we all, they still can be competitive at home, but are the Ravens just finally a step up in class here in this series? Obviously, they are. I mean, the spread is moving in the Ravens' direction now up to -4 on the road. It almost feels like an automatic take because when you have Tomlin, you figure Pittsburgh 27-15-1 against the spread last 43 when the spread is 3 points or lower. But it's a different story when you get to 4 points for the Steelers. So in the games they've lost, they scored only 6 points and 7 points. Now Pickett, this is the most important factor of the game, and I imagine if he is ruled in, there will be some buyback. I don't think, no one's saying that Pickett's worth a point to the. Maybe he's not. Maybe this is going to be maybe a half a point. I don't know. You still have Lamar Jackson. He still, basically won 70% of the games he takes the field. And remember, they've won and covered They've won and covered in all 3 of their wins. They've won and covered in all 3 of their wins, and the game they lost was that overtime game to the Colts. So we know the Colts have the improvement tag on them so far. Baltimore's allowed just 3 touchdowns so far this season on 49 drives. This is the best defense in the league. Is the most underrated defense. Never going to underrate the Baltimore defense necessarily, right? I mean, I think it's something we can always expect. We don't have the big names of the past, but this is going to be Ravens Steelers, right? It's going to be knockdown, drag out. They've gone under in 5 of the last 6. The total's 38. The Steelers' offense has been they've been outgained by over 100 yards per game so far, and 3 of the 4 have stayed under for the Steelers. Baltimore's gone under in 3 of 4. They've also gone under in 15 of their last 25 road games. Baltimore's in a spot they're not the best in as a road favorite. They are just 6-10 against the spread as a road favorite, but 9-5 against the spread in the division on the road. Now they're usually involved in more closely rated games than they're not always favored. Think of these opponents that they face on the road when you're talking about the Bengals and the Brown and that series right there. But this one, right? I mean, if you were to think of, look, this is a total open as a 41 and as high as it got as high as 41.5 on the look ahead. But that's just Thomas says this season's almost over. Steven says you got to take the Steelers. I mean, you get Steelers in these points and even sprinkle the money line. These are the Steelers. Why wouldn't they be able to compete in this game? Yeah, Baltimore seems to be doing it all right now. I'm going to lay 4 points on the road. I don't know, maybe I feel like it's almost out of character for me right now, but I'm a little bit on Baltimore here moving forward. Look, we talked about MVP Jackson last season, and okay, wasn't a great season. Is he going to go to another team? What's wrong with Jackson? Is he any good anymore? Whatever. He looks pretty motivated to me. Mike's got the Steelers to win this one by 1. Of course, I mean this is a Steelers and Ravens, man. This is why isn't this game on? I'd take this game tonight because how many times, right? Ravens, Steelers, Sunday night. It feels like the Sunday night game a lot of times. I bet I haven't seen when the other game is. I bet it is Sunday night football. Anybody have the schedule in front of anybody? We got the Baltimore crew in here at all? Ray says, give me the Ravens tonight. I don't even know. I would just guess the next time they play is a Sunday night game. It might be Monday. Feel like it's a prime time. I sure wish it was tonight's game or something. Just take Jackson for a TB. Don't worry about the side. Take Jackson anytime touchdown. Yeah, okay, Neil. Well, unfortunately, the theme of this show is pick a side or total on every play. But I am going to start with more props coverage here because of the fact that Tony'sPicks.com is featuring their prop selections. And while I'll unlikely have until the biggest games many prop selections, I probably will give some out here on the show moving forward. And for me in this one, though, the Ravens are my pick. And I do like the total very, very much. Can I say that? And I probably like the side even a little bit more, but laying 4 points now, even for me, it feels a little bit uncomfortable. I just think the Ravens are all that, and the Steelers have not that the Steelers couldn't improve. I say that now. They're 2-2. They'll probably still be very Steeler-like and battle all the way to the playoff finish very, very close to a 500 or better record. I just have a feeling that Baltimore could be in store for and they're a team that can be susceptible certainly to ruts. But they've had a touch or two of injuries already. But for me, I'm taking the Ravens here, actually, to smash in this one. And when I say smash, I mean, this is an NFL game. I just mean, though, if they're favored by 4 and I've got them to smash, then they're going to win by at least 6 or 7 around a touchdown and win convincingly. Maybe Pittsburgh, if they're threatening the back door, Baltimore will have to stop them, but maybe Pittsburgh can only get within a touchdown by the end. We'll see. But Ravens right now, they're playing really good for me, and that's where I like them. So, all right. One more note before we get out of here, and I'll let you go, as we talked about that basketball game coming up now in 40 minutes here. And, man, this sucks we don't have any baseball today. Fix that baseball here. But just want to note, just within the last couple of minutes, so I'm not Mr. Well, okay, I'm Mr. Handicapper here. That's why, hopefully, that's why you're going to continue to patronize the show. And I know some have left us, but I'm not sure why they do that, because all I'm going to do is give out winners here, really, and hopefully that's why you're coming in. I'm not trying to steal anybody's spotlight or anything like that, but I'm a handicapper, and we talked about that basketball game, and I said, this one, we all agreed, actually, that was moving on the under, that had already been slammed under, had already been moving off a huge high of like 230. It's already moving more under. So, hey, it may go 240 points, but I'm handicapping, I'm market reading. I'm here to tell you, I'm showing some books as low as 222 even right now. So even if you can grab a 224.5 or something, you might be able to do something with that moving forward, because I'm showing the books a little bit slow on the move. All right. Thanks a lot for joining me here on the Mornings Team. 2 hours with you, and we only had 4 games a day. So we just go all the way. Yep, we move the line, Thomas. Is that what you're saying? All right, guys, thanks a lot. Appreciate you. Catch you again tomorrow, more Mornings Team. We'll go with a little bit more college football tomorrow. We'll wrap up some of the afternoon games and maybe touch on a few more games where I've made a move or so. We'll give out some more free winners. Thanks a lot. This has been Ramon Scott.